Hey guys, am I audible? Am I visible? It working? Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so the stream is coming up. Okay, this is better, right, with the transition. I'm audible, right? You guys can hear me. Hi Riaz. Hi Ayush. Hi, what's up? So yesterday's stream, I mean, there were two things. The first thing was that I was trying to explore the software EVMux. So the stream started a bit late, and also it only allows me to stream for 2 hours uh, in a single go. So that's why it ended. But I didn't answer a lot of questions yesterday. So in this stream, the idea is that I would be answering the remaining questions that were there. Ankur says everything's perfect now. Yes, it is. Hello, Shob. So Vinash Kumar has a question. Is it okay to do BCA from an online university? Uh, it kind of depends. I personally don't, uh, if let's say you have plans to do BCA and then MCA after that as well, then you can do BCA. But otherwise, I don't think that an online BCA is worth it. You can acquire the skills yourself. You can learn the things yourself. Uh, BCA, anyways, a lot of companies are there that don't recognize BCA as a legit degree. So after doing BCA, you might be eligible for government jobs, but a lot of private companies still consider BTech superior to BCA, especially if you're doing it from online, then it might not carry as much weight if you're not doing MCA after that. Sorimono asks, hey, can you tell whether there's a scope of open source and UI UX design? Uh, Well, yeah, I mean, of course, there's scope in UI UX design as well. You can look at projects, you can go to websites, and you can suggest some designs that are there. Even things like raising issues and raising issues, or there are a lot of GitHub issues that are appealing to UI UX design. For example, someone might have added an issue that the CTA or the click to action button is not coming up right, or things like that. So you can contribute into those. You can submit your designs, you can raise issues in different projects, you can be a part of the conversations that are happening around UI UX tickets in any given web application or anything like that. That's In my opinion, I don't think there's scope beyond that, but there are still a lot of people who have been talking about how you can contribute uh, as a UI UX designer into open source by contributing into their open source Figma files or something like that. So you need to explore those options, I think, and talk to people who are already, you know, are UI UX designers or are contributing into that direction. Smiling Mahi asks, hello sir, how required percentage for product-based company jobs in PTech? I didn't understand the question. If you're asking in product-based companies, what is the CGPA that is considered good in while doing BTech, then I think anything close to 8 is good. If you score more than that, then that's even better. But ultimately, I think that a score of 8 is good enough for most of the companies. If you talk about MNCs are the only ones who are concerned about what was your percentage in college and things like that. They are the only ones who even ask that question. A lot of startups don't even care what was your background. I mean, since these companies are hiring people without a degree, then Having a degree and scoring less doesn't matter, right? But a lot of I mean, I personally say that if let's say you're pursuing a degree in BTech, if you're doing a degree, then don't take it for granted, right? At least try to score an average CGPA of 8, right? That is the ideal score, because it's not worth doing if you are not going to score even that, right? So if you're doing it, try to get at least an 8. How to take a career choice? What should I choose? Full stack development or backend? Please answer. It means a lot. So, like before taking career choice, one thing that I usually recommend is to try to do different things, right? Now you are asking if you should choose full stack web development or backend, right? So even the full stack developers that are there, if I talk about my example per se, all the full stack developers that are there, usually what happens is that even these full stack developers have an expertise, right? So in my example, I'm a backend heavy full stack developer, right? My backend skills are superior to my front end skills any given day, right? if let's say i come across if let's say I'm doing a full stack job and I come across an issue in the backend, then I'll probably solve it much faster than any issues that comes up in front end, because backend is my strength, right? So you can work to become a backend developer. You can get really good at backend, and you should still keep some front end skills that are enough to know, the requirements that any front end developer might be having, right? So I mean, you need to be able to you should have the understanding of how APIs are designed, right? Because the front end developers, these guys need the APIs to provide data in a certain manner, right? So that their application can work. So having a little bit of front end idea helps you in designing your back end in a way that without any without much back and forth, your front end developer would be able to integrate your APIs, right? So you should have a little bit of knowledge of front end as well, if you even if you choose to do completely back end. But it's completely fine if you choose to become a back end heavy front end full stack developer, right? Where your back end is your core strength, but you still know a little bit of front end. You are not as good as a proper front end developer, but you still know how to do things, right? About bootcamp. So my next video would be on Bootstrap. I am working on it. uh, Today I uploaded the blog, no, no, not the blog, the podcast I did with Rohit Gumre on DevOps. So it is live today. Now the next video on Bootstrap, in which we will start implementing Bootstrap and also start developing the which I mean, will not start developing the website, but after Bootstrap, in the next video we are going to start developing the Virtual Tech Schools website. So this next video is going to be out. Today is what? Today is Wednesday, right? So it would be out by Friday, right? It would be out by Friday, and after that, there would be another video on how to learn by doing. I shared a lot about it in my yesterday's live stream, so you can go check that out. But if someone is still interested in knowing, then that is going to be a part of a mini series on how to learn by doing, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how that series is going to be, right? So a lot of people talk about how to learn by doing and how you should learn by doing, right? If a lot of people ask these questions, that how should I approach learning this, how should I approach learning that, how should I build projects, if I should build projects first and then learn, or if I should learn first and then build projects. So all of your questions are going to be answered in that video, right? I'm going to tell you simple process of how you can learn by doing, how I usually learn by doing, and how I usually attempt the projects that are beyond my knowledge or skill set, right? I have built a lot of projects that at the time were not, you know, way beyond my skill sets and things like that, but I was still able to attempt those and build them and deliver them, right? So how I exactly did them. And at the end of the video, not the end of the video, but in that video, I'm not just going to give you tips or tell you the process of how I do it. I'm going to demonstrate it as well, right? So I'm going to uh, build a mobile application, a native Java mobile application in that video, because uh, the first time I got that question asked in last week's hangout, someone asked me that they're trying to learn Java and they're trying to build an application of a contact list in Java, right? And they're not sure how to approach it. So with my approach, I explained them exactly how to build a mobile application in Java. And I haven't worked with Java. I mean, it's been so many years since I touched Java, and I don't even remember the syntax of Java, to be very honest. I've never built a native Android application, right? At this point of time, Java or Android Studio, none of it is even installed in my device, right? So in that scenario, I'm going to exactly demonstrate how I am going to learn by doing. I have no experience in Java, I have no experience in mobile development, and still I'm going to show you how I built that mobile application in that video itself. So it's going to be nice, and at the end of that video, I'm going to prompt people to give me some suggestions on what should I learn by doing next, right? What should I build next while learning it, right? So I'm going to take a few suggestions from the people, and the comments that are going to get most liked are the projects I'm going to attempt in my next video in that series itself, right? So it's going to be interesting, and along with that, we are also going to continue our front end bootcamp as well. Eventually, get started with Python as well. We have a lot of work at hand. The only thing I'd love to ask is to be persistent on the bootcamp video releases. So that's something that I will definitely be doing. Right, you got a lot of videos in January and you'll get a lot of videos in February itself, although it's just 2 weeks in February, but still in these 2 weeks you can expect a lot of videos, right? So that's going to be there. I mean, I'm going to continue the streak of posting at least, uh, 7, 8 videos every month. That is going to be at least there, and yeah, so that we complete the course on time. Because I don't want to like leave it in between. This is a very interesting course, and there's a reason why it is interesting. Uh, there's a reason why it is interesting, and that's something that you'll understand at the end of the course, at the very last video of this boot camp. So, I mean, if it was in my hand then I would have skipped the entire boot camp and directly created that last video as to why I'm creating this boot camp in the first place. But that's not possible. I'm very eager to create that video, so just out of that eagerness, I'm going to complete this course so that I can create that last video of the bootcamp of why I did all of this. Right. Have you coded with C? I have coded with C, although it's been again a long time. So if you give me a project on C, then again that's going to be sort of a learn by doing for me. But it depends. If in that video I get a lot of comments, if I get a comment with a lot of likes that asks me to build something particular with C, then I'm going to attempt it. I'm going to show you how I learn by doing, right? I'm going to demonstrate it. So the idea is to make you guys engineers, not students who are still dependent on bhaiyas and didis and stuff like that, right? I want you to be engineers, how to think like engineer, how to approach a problem like an engineer, how to solve problems like an engineer. That is the goal of my bootcamp, right? Web development, there are a lot of resources you can learn from anywhere. I don't care, but my point is that I want to change the student mentality. You should feel independent, that you come across any particular problem any given day and you're able to solve it, you're able to attempt it on your own, right? Without depending on anyone. But yeah, JavaScript masterclass, when will it start? Front end bootcamp. Uh, so we are going to have a separate series on JavaScript. It's not going to be as detailed until we move to React and Firebase and things like that. So when we talk about our phase 2 and phase 4, that will be the point where we are going to extensively dive into JavaScript. But before that, I'm still going to have a mini JavaScript series as well, where I would be teaching JavaScript through game development, right? Because object-oriented programming, if I teach you that while building games in JavaScript, it's going to be a lot more easier to understand the concepts of JavaScript. And eventually, I mean, when we move to things like promises and stuff, that all of that is going to become a part of, when we uh, talk about React.js and Firebase and things like that, right? Hey Apoorv, because of my university, it's my drop year. As you know, I am currently upskilling myself. Do you think I should do MCA as well? Does it affect much in remote jobs? So it might not affect in your case, because I mean, I remember you telling me about your experiences yesterday of how you've been involved in open source, how you've been active on Twitter. I see your profile every day on Twitter, one way or the other. I mean, it's in my feed, it's in my uh, engagements, people who like and comment on my tweets, things like that. So I know that you're socially active. I know that you create a lot of content as well. You write threads, you write blogs, things like that. I know that you've been involved in open source. So you've been doing good work. In that case, I don't think MCA is required. If you still feel insecure, right? I mean, if it's your drop year, right? So you can try to pursue what you're doing for 1 year, right? You can even take up a job, right? I mean, take up a job as in don't fear from doing internships or jobs. If you're getting an opportunity and you think you can do that, then definitely go for it, right? And after doing it for some time, maybe you can if you still feel insecure that your career you know would your resume basically would have a good an MCA would fit in well in your resume. If you feel that, then you can do that, because then your BCA plus MCA would equate to a BTech for any companies that are already looking for a degree. I mean, that's my opinion. I might be completely wrong on this, but I think that a lot of companies think BCA plus MCA is equal to BTech, right? So I think that if you still feel insecure after doing all the work that you've been doing, don't worry about the drop year, first of all, because you're already doing great work. So even if anyone asks you what you did in your drop year, you have a lot to say, right? So don't worry about that. And this MCA, doing it or not completely depends on how insecure you are. In the direction you're going, I think it's completely fine if you skip it. Do you use Notion or anything to organize? Uh, I don't use Notion per se. I just have a pen and a copy where I write all the things that I have to do in the day, right? So I don't keep it digital. The more I write, the more I remember is the case with me. And yeah, are you currently freelancing or on a break? By the way, the questions that I'm answering are 15 minutes ago, right? So I don't know what the current questions are. After this question, I'm going to skip a lot of questions to uh, check out the latest chat. Are you currently freelancing or on a break? So I'm not freelancing. I haven't been freelancing since October last year. Haven't been freelancing since then, but I have a few projects that are there that I need to work on. And although it's not full-time freelancing, but I need to give some time there, because I need to manage my own expenses as well, right? And YouTube doesn't provides any income or anything. That or most of the people think that there's a lot of money on YouTube. It is there when you have a lot of subscribers. It is there when you have a lot of audience, but not in the initial stage. My lifetime income up until now through YouTube has been what, $80 or something, right? Which is nothing. So I need to sustain myself in that sense through freelancing and stuff if I want to continue this. I mean, if I want to not continue this, then I can do a full-time job as well. Can I find a remote data analyst job abroad without having a college degree? I think you can find it. If you want to find a job for a data analyst and things like that, then you need to be more active on Kaggle. That is one of the like basic things for anything related to data, because Kaggle has a lot of data sets, and a lot of people create their data stories and things like that on Google Colab and Kaggle and things like that. They publish their findings on Kaggle, so you need to be uh, an active part of the communities there, right? And you need to keep doing what other people are doing in the field of DevOps and web development, and eventually I think even without a college degree you can get a job. Uh, but I mean, you need to work for it, right? You need to work hard for it. I don't know my interest, how to find out, how to take a career choice, what should I choose, full stack web development or backend? I've already answered that. I'll move to the latest questions. I think the questions are repeating now. I know nothing about programming, so should I start with Java or C, which is the best programming language to learn basics of coding? My opinion might differ with a lot of people. A lot of people think that Java or C is the best language for beginners. I think Python is the best language for beginners. I was the one who started with Python, so I don't prefer Java or C, I prefer Python. How some 15, 16-year-old folks are able to get good jobs at startups? Is there no age barrier in startups? Well, there is no age barrier in startups per se, and the reason they are getting jobs is because they started doing good work at a very young age, and that kind of shows the potential as well as passion, right? I mean, these kids are potential. They have a lot of potential since they have been doing. Good job at such a young age, right? And they're also, I mean, the reason why they're doing that good work is because they're passionate about it, right? So in terms of culture, or any company is aware that if you're young and still doing a lot of good things, then uh, you're going to have a bright future ahead, right? And they find it better to invest in those people who have a bright future ahead of them, who can contribute into the startup as well as their own personal growth as well, right? Your opinion on 100 devs course by Leon Noel. I haven't heard about that course, so no comments. I haven't even heard about that course. Apart from JavaScript, what should one learn for backend programming? Also, what backend projects should one make? Well, you can learn Python. I mean, for Python has these amazing frameworks like Django and Flask, which a lot of companies use. And most of the companies, especially if they're working on backend, they try to use JavaScript-based frameworks itself. Right. So I think after learning JavaScript and Python, you can start exploring other languages like Golang and Rust and uh, Java, C, C++, whatever it is, you can start exploring these languages. The thing is that once you're comfortable with one language and once you're comfortable with two languages, then it's no more a barrier. If you uh, it's no more a barrier. You don't face difficulties in learning new languages. So that is there. Hey Apoorv, I write blogs on Hashnode as and when I finish a video from your series, Mohammad Nurani, if you remember threads. My question is, how do I improve more and build audience on Twitter? So Mohammed has been writing a lot of good blogs. I've read most of his blogs that he's written. Um, and obviously I remember because as I told Shobh as well, I even remember his name now, right? So as I told Shobh as well, the people who keep appearing on my Twitter feed, who keep appearing in my engagements, like my tweets, they comment on it, their name tends to stick in my mind, right? And it's not just me, but it happens with a lot of people, right? Forget about the people who have large followings, right? Because Twitter doesn't even shows all the notifications that are there, and most of the people who have large followings, they get thousands of notifications every hour, right? So Twitter doesn't bother showing all the notifications that are there. But in my case, and this is the case for most of the people who are, doing jobs in companies, proper tech jobs, senior recruiters and things like that, right? All the senior people, they've already made it so much in their career that they don't find it, appealing to be active on social media as much because they have first thing they have other things to do as well, and secondly they've already have good credentials on their resume on their career that even if they're looking for a new job ever, then they have such a good network, offline network, that they're going to make it, right? So I think that you should continue to do what you're doing, right, in the form of blogs, threads, and all the good work that you've been doing, contribute into open source and things like that, right? That is the way when people will start remembering you, right? And once people start remembering you, uh, you know, they'll just, be aware that there's this one person. So whenever they, uh, you know, want to hire someone or things like that, they might reach out to you, right? Because they're aware about the good work that you've been doing. So there's no there's no formula of uh, building audience, right? One of the main things is that you keep doing what you do, and you can become a part of a lot of Twitter spaces. You can speak in public. You can be part of these Twitter spaces, right? And you can organize Twitter spaces of your own, right? I mean, just discussing about something, just you know, hosting a Twitter space in the students community, anything like that, right? You just need to, continue doing what you're doing, and I think eventually it just pays off, right? वो जंपिंग वाली वीडियो कहाँ की है आपके इंस्टाग्राम में? इफ यू आर टॉकिंग jumping video, if you're talking about the video where I'm kicking and doing all that stuff, then that was in Dharamshala, Himachal Pradesh. My favorite city. I mean, I might relocate there someday permanently. So Rajan asks, Hi Apoorv, my age is 37, working as a computer teacher in a school, and I have sound knowledge in Java. Since I'm a fresher in development, how can I approach remote jobs as all are looking for experience? Uh, well, the first thing is that I mean, since you already have experience, I mean, knowledge in Java, right? The first thing is that you should start, building a few things, right? I mean, you must be having good knowledge, so you can start building a few things, right? Look at some projects that other people have been building, and become active in communities, right? Try to reach out to people, right, who can, help you in understanding more what paths, Java opens up. For example, you can work on you can go into mobile development, right? I haven't explored Java or Kotlin for mobile development much, and I mean, that is something that I'm going to demonstrate in my upcoming video as well, how to build a mobile application, uh, an application for contact list using Java and uh, stuff. So, I mean, you can watch that video and try to understand how to approach, learning things while building, right? How to learn by doing. You can watch that video and you can start from there. Eventually, I mean, experience is something that people are looking for, and I understand, but experience also means that you're job ready and you understand certain things previously, right? So if let's say you're aiming to become a software engineer, backend software engineer, or whatever it is, then you should be aware about what are the things that are there on Git, what GitOps is, what GitHub Actions is. These are the things that you need to be aware about, and you will gain awareness about these things once you start developing or contributing into open source, right? So that's something that you need to do. Apart from that, you need to build a lot of projects, right? And I think that remote jobs should not be the only goal in your case, because since you are starting so late in your career, right, at the age of 37, it might be that a lot of people, I mean, it might play a factor in a lot of places, right? So I think a better approach would be to get an in-office job initially, right? Gain some experience uh, for at least an year or so, and then start exploring some remote opportunities that you can get, right? Uh, I mean, there are different paths, right? For even for freshers that are listening to this answer that I'm giving, right? There are a lot of paths to reach that same place, right? As a fresher, it need not be that your first job is a remote job, right? It need not be the case. You can also take the path where you're doing some internships. They might not be remote, they may be remote, right? There, you can also take the path where you are doing an in-office job, or a job in a hybrid sort of a setup where you're expected to be in the office 2 days a week or something like that, right? You can start your journey from there, and after gaining some experience, right, you can look for remote jobs. You can try exploring, if you can get any remote opportunities or things like that, right? So The problem is that a lot of students, as their first jobs, want to do remote jobs, right? They don't want to get out of their homes. They don't want to, experience all these things, what, being in the office feels like, and what interacting with people feels like, and things like that. So I think that's a wrong approach, just being locked on one fact that I just need a remote job as a fresher, right? You should be open to in-office jobs as well. Remote job is something that you should I mean, it comes remote job is a perk, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a perk, right? It's an advantage that you can stay at your home, you can wake up late, you don't have to spend time or money in commuting and things like that. You can work at your own pace if, let's say, the organization is offering you asynchronous work and things like that. So it comes with some perks as well, right? And since it comes with some perks, a lot of people have been actively uh, applying to remote jobs. I mean, any remote job that you look out there, there are thousands of applicants applying for the same job all around the world, right? Since it is remote, it's not just people from India who are looking for remote jobs, it's people outside as well. There would be people in Japan, there would be people in, Europe, there would be people in North America, there would be people in South America. Everyone is looking for a remote job, right? So need to be better in terms of the experience that you're showcasing, be it in form of in office jobs or internships or things like that. You need to showcase that you're a good team player and you know how to collaborate with people and things like that. One way of doing that is through open source, and you need to build a network as well. One way to do that is through being active on social media and building virtual networks that are there with people whom you cannot meet directly, but they still recognize you and your work and things like that, right? So don't just get fixated into one idea of remote jobs, that remote jobs is all that I want to do and I'm not open to any other things, right? Be open to different opportunities that come your way, right? And accept them with both hands, right? And it might take a little more, right? As a fresher, you might not get a remote job, but 1 year, 1.5, 2 years down the line, you might be receiving an opportunity that is fully remote or things like that. But you need to cave in that path, right? Staying at home, not doing anything just because you are fixated on the idea of getting remote job is not, it's not good, it's not healthy. It just creates uh, a gap year in your resume, right? So know the point where you need to stop being obsessed about remote jobs and do something about it, right? My college is providing 4 to 6 months for internship, and it's compulsory to do internship. So I started web development. Is it possible to be internship ready in 1.5 months of time? Well, I think it is possible, but it depends on how much hard work you put in, what your learning capabilities are, and things like that, right? So all of that is absolutely necessary when we talk about internships. And as I explained earlier, the internship might not be remote, it might be an in-office internship or anything like that. So you need to be open to that as well, because if you feel that in 4 to 6 months I want to do a remote internship, then I think that might not be possible, because a lot of people, all the people, I mean 26, 24, 25 people are watching this. So a lot of people need internships, right? They are getting the same knowledge as you. It's just that people don't work hard enough for that knowledge, right? A lot of people say that there are so many subscribers that are watching the same content, so many people who are watching the same content. So how is the competition not there? The competition is not there in the sense that people are not working hard enough. So you need to be work hard, right? If in case you're looking for an internship in 1.5 months, then you need to work hard for it. And you need to be open to offline internships as well, in office internships as well, right? You need to be open to that. And you need to look a lot for, you might be able, you might get internships just by reaching out to people that if they have any vacancies, or you know suggesting them a few things, right? You might, let's say, go through their organization or the work that they do, and you might propose a few things that I can do this work for you, I can manage this thing for you, right? and anything like that, and eventually you might land an internship by reaching out to people. You have to apply on internshala and things like that. A lot of internships are posted there, but one of the main things is that don't apply for internships that don't have a proper job description in them, because most of these internships that are posted without proper job descriptions and stuff, they're just scams, right? At the end of the day, they'll give you an assignment looking for some free work to be done, and once it's done, they're going to reject you, right? So uh, be aware about those types of internships as well. Look for proper job descriptions in the internships, and yeah, I mean, I think it should be possible, but you need to, you know, work hard for it. At 28, it's too late to start from scratch in coding for IT industry. I don't think so. I don't think it's ever too late, right? After so much gap, please let me know. I'm hell confused. Please answer. So, uh, I think it's not too late if you're starting at 28, right? One of the people earlier were uh, told me that they were 37, right? And it's a part of the stream, right? So the process remains the same. I mean, if even if you're 28, it's not too late. It's just that you need to put in a lot of hard work, right? And you need to be open to, responsive, opportunities that might require some compromise from your side as well, like opportunities in the offline setup where you have to, do an in-office job or things like that. Maybe these companies might be offering some low compensation, which might be a bit unfair, but you still need to be, fine with it, since I mean, you carry all these insecurities with you, right? You know that you have all these gap years not being in the IT industry or the tech industry and things like that. So in order to feel more confident, and remove all these doubts from yourself, you might have to compromise initially, and then gradually, look for better opportunities. I mean, that's something that I personally feel, because a lot of people say that it's never too late. You're age 28 and you can still aim for jobs that offer 25, 30 LPA. I think all of that is crap, right? I don't believe in that, to be very honest. And I feel that, I mean, it doesn't apply to an average people, right? Most of the people who are asking these questions are average by default, right? They're not extraordinary people, otherwise they wouldn't be asking this question, right? Most of the people who ask these questions are average, and those answers don't apply to average people, right? So if I answer this question in that sense, then I think that you might have to compromise a little bit initially in terms of pay, in terms of, not getting remote opportunities, but I think it is possible. And once you start, working in the IT industry, uh, then I think the gap wouldn't be a problem, because any next organization that you go to is just going to look at the last experience that you had, and there won't be any gap. They still might ask you questions about the gap and things like that, but you can, mold your answer along while answering it, right? You can mold your answer in the sense that I started developing passion for tech at a late age, so I started exploring, and even then I got a job without a degree or anything like that. You can just mold that answer into something that makes you look as a, you know makes the whole situation positive for you, right? You can take advantage of that gap year by telling how passionate you were about tech, that you started exploring it late and still made it, right? After learning Python, will my basic concepts about programming get clear? Well, I think they would be clear, the basic programming concepts, right? Python is relatively not that low level, right? So you might still struggle with things like how RAM works and how, memory management is done and things like that. You might still struggle with those things, but as far as the basic concepts of a programming language is considered, I think they would be cleared. So don't have to worry about that. Is 5 LP a good package for fresher as a Python full stack developer, or should I search remote job? Well, I think this is an answer that you should be able to answer for yourself, right? For example, I mean, in the last hangout that I did with these people, I told them about a situation about the first ever interview that I gave, right? And that first interview was an interview on React JS and Redux, right? And it was my first job interview ever, and I didn't know about JavaScript as well at that time. And that interview was in 3 days, and I prepared really hard for it. I went into the learn by doing approach. I learned JavaScript, I learned React JS, I learned Redux, and I built a project. And in 3 days time I was ready for the interview without knowing JavaScript or React.js earlier. And once I gave that interview, the interviewer was so impressed that he offered me the job. He offered me 70,000 rupees per month stipend, right? I don't remember. I think that was the CTC, 70K per month. Don't know what that translates to. What will it translate to? 8.4 LPA, right? So 8.4 LPA was the package, and that was the offer in front of me, and I myself knew that I could do better, so I turned it down. Right, I didn't have to ask anyone that is 8.4 good package or not. I myself knew that I can score more, and this is not my full extent. Right, I might be underpaid here and working a lot. Right, so I myself knew that based on my skills, based on what I'm capable of and things like that. Because deep down, I mean, you're aware, right? You're aware about the skills that you carry, you're aware about your potential, you're aware about your capabilities, right? And you are the best person to answer if 5 LPA is a good package or not, right? So I knew the answer. I knew that 8.4 was a bit low for me and I can do much better. And it was true to some extent because this interview happened in October when I turned it down, and I really needed the money, but still I turned it down, right? And in November, the next month, I was making 110 110,000 rupees per month, 1,10,000, something like that. That was what I was making in November, right? So if I took that decision of joining that 8.4 LPA, then I wouldn't have you know had a better pay the next month, right? But I did because I knew it deep down. So you need to answer this question yourself, right? I am not the right person to tell you if 5 LPA is a good package or not. How do you know Kunal? Is he your old friend or college friend? We were classmates in school, and by classmates I mean we were in same class, we were in same section as well, and we were classmates since we were in sixth. So 6 years in school and then a lifetime after that, right? So since then we have been friends. And I mean, it wasn't like we were just in the same class and that's how we know each other. We were friends, right? We used to uh, go back home together. We used to spend our break time together, and we used to hang out a lot together. We were friends, right? In school. And that was the time. I mean, that was exactly the time when me, Kunal, and Rahul, who is currently in Dublin, Ireland, and a few of our friends as well, we decided that we'll start a YouTube channel together. Now, m- uh, I mean, it didn't happen together, and we might have one later for gaming purposes, right? We can game together at least, so we might do that later. But I mean, we decided to have a channel of our own together, so that is there. Are you coming to NG India, the Angular conference? I'm not. I'm not. Thanks, Sana, for the feedback and for the wishes. I'm not comfortable in English. I'm learning Linux from different place because of it. Uh, is my bootcamp Ubuntu or Linux the same? So Linux is a kernel, right? Linux is not an operating system; it's a kernel on top of which different operating systems or different distributions of Linux are built, right? So Ubuntu is just a distribution of Linux, and I'll tell you one thing. So if you're not comfortable in English, then the first thing that you need to do is you need to become comfortable in English, right? And one of the major reasons is, I mean, the very basic first reason why I myself didn't start my YouTube channel in Hindi, right? One of the main reasons for that was that I know that if you're not comfortable in English by default, then you are going to miss out on a lot of opportunities, right? I mean, this is a basic requirement in most of the companies as well, that you should be fluent with English. You should be able to have written and verbal skills in English, basic skills. It's because these companies, you know, have their bases in a lot of countries, right? Or they might be working with people who are not from India or things like that, right? And English is a universal language. So in order to be able to, communicate with these people, maybe on email or on video call and things like that, you need to have some basic English skills, right? And that is going to, like, increase your scope of opportunities that you can be eligible for and things like that, right? So I think that it is something that you need to work on. I don't care where you're learning Linux from. You can. One thing is that this person doesn't know English or he's not comfortable, so I'll answer this in Hindi. Right? I didn't realize it. So रियाज, मुझे नहीं फर्क पड़ता तुम लिनक्स कहाँ से पढ़ रहे हो, तुम मेरे चैनल से पढ़ो, किसी और चैनल से पढ़ो, है ना, वो कोई बात नहीं है, बट इंग्लिश इम्प्रूव करो, क्योंकि बहुत सारी कंपनीज जो है उनको इंग्लिश में अच्छी रिटन और वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन चाहिए होती है। तुम अच्छी इंग्लिश लिख सकते हो, तुम अच्छी इंग्लिश बोल सकते हो, उनको चाहिए होता है, क्योंकि उनके लोग जो होते हैं वो सिर्फ इंडिया से नहीं होते, बाहर के लोग भी काम कर रहे होते हैं, कभी कभार कोलैबोरेट करना पड़ता है बाहर के लोगों से। और उस टाइम पे अगर तुमको बोले वो कि तुम उस बंदे से बात करो, तुम उसको ईमेल पे फॉलो अप लो या जो भी करो, तो उनको वो इंग्लिश एक्सपेक्टेड होती है। ठीक है, तुमको इतनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलेंगी ही नहीं अगर तुम्हारी इंग्लिश ठीक नहीं होगी तो। ठीक है, तो इसलिए इंग्लिश के साथ कंफर्टेबल हो, वो ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। ठीक है। लिनक्स जो है वो एक कर्नल होता है, उबुंटू उसके ऊपर एक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन है। तो दूसरा जो कोर्स है जो लिनक्स पढ़ा रहा है वो भी सेम ही पढ़ा रहा होगा जो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ। ठीक है। तो तुम वो कंटिन्यू रखो, बट अपनी इंग्लिश पे काम करो, क्योंकि इंग्लिश पे काम नहीं करोगे तो तुम्हें कितनी कोडिंग आती हो, तुम्हें जॉब वही मिलेगी, 20 25 30 हज़ार वाली। ठीक है, तो इंग्लिश नहीं आती होगी तो उससे ज़्यादा नहीं मिलेगी, कहीं नहीं मिलेगी। Sir, please give some guidance for college dropouts, how to approach people and companies, as everyone can't be lucky in finding companies. Please conduct and give some guidance path for dropouts. Uh, how to approach people and companies, as everyone can't be lucky in finding companies. Well, I think that when we talk about, people who are doing things in public, when they're creating content in public, when they're learning in public and things like that, then people start knowing you, right? And in my last I think in my last live session or in the podcast with Rohit, I don't remember, but I stated that, whenever you do some work or things like that, and more importantly, whenever you're reaching out to someone on social media, there should be an agenda behind it, right? I get so many DMs on Instagram, on Twitter, where it's just hi Apoorv, right? Now what does hi Apoorv mean, right? Do you have any reason why you're messaging me? What is your question that you want to ask? Or what is it that you want from me, right? There's no context behind it. It's just a simple hi Apoorv, right? And I completely ignore those DMs because I mean that I don't have time to engage in a conversation, right, on social media with a person I don't even know who he is, right? So I don't have that time, and I get so many of such DMs, right? So you can start improving your social media presence. That's one thing. Maybe create some content or learn in public, do all those things, have a very nice portfolio and stuff. And after gaining some experience, what you can do is, uh, I mean, after gaining some experience, the first thing that you should do is you should reach out to people, right? And reach out to people just to showcase them what you did, right? So I mean, uh, you don't even have to reach out to people. You can just share it in public, like I built this, and ask for people's feedback, right? Just ask for people feedback. You can do the same thing in communities as well. For example, my virtual tech school community, you can there's a separate channel for showcasing stuff, right? So you can showcase your stuff there, right? And you know have people being aware about your project and things like that. Yesterday in one of my answers I said that you how you can you know build projects that prompt people to contribute more into your project, so you can make that project in the sense that people can contribute into it and things like that. uh, if you're a college dropout, then again some of the previous things apply to you as well, right? I mean, you should be in the state where you're willing to take up some compromises in your career as well. You might be getting some opportunities where the pay is not fair to you. You might be getting some opportunities where they're asking you to come into the office to an offline job, so you should be comfortable with those sort of things, because uh, not having a degree and being in India is a disadvantage, right? It's still a disadvantage, right? And I even did a video on things to consider before dropping out of college. My main conclusion of that video was to not take a drop. Right. Me being a dropout is telling people not to take a drop. There's a reason behind it. Right. There's a reason, because I understand the amount of hard work it takes to be able to do it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if that would be a right statement, but I personally feel that if I did the same amount of hard work with a degree as well, if I had a degree in computer science, if I had a B Tech, and along with that B Tech, I did this much amount of hard work that I did, I might be somewhere else today, right? I believe that, right? So I think it's still a disadvantage in India to not have a computer science degree. I myself believe it, right? But I still don't have it, and I think that it would take a lot of hard work, and you need to do all the things that other people are doing, right? The people who are already in college and still scoring jobs, right? You need to be better than them, or you need to be at least as good as them, right? So all the things they are doing, they're learning in public, building in public, things like that. You need to do all of that, right? Only then you would be able to be at par with them who are already getting jobs. Hi Gaurav, I'm good. You don't have to call me sir. Okay, I think I have. Brother, I'm in fourth sem. Am I too late to start open source? I think no one is ever too late to start in open source. If I start in this sem, can I land a remote job by my fourth year? If you are in fourth sem, then I definitely think that you are definitely not late to start in open source. You'll see a lot of students who are in their fourth year and still haven't started with open source, right? So you're definitely not late. And if you start this year, then you can get a remote job. But again, I mean, I have said that freshers should be open to opportunities. It's not just remote jobs that you should be fixated on. Take the opportunities that you're getting. If not in your first attempt, if not as your first experience, maybe your second job might be a high paying remote job, right? Which will in the process you might get a good experience in your first job as well. So you can do that, and try to do all the other things that other people are doing as well, right? I mean, you need to look different from the crowd, right? There are so many students in India, right? There must be so many students in your college itself, right? There must be so many students in your state, right? So you need to look different in order to get a remote job. A lot of people are applying for those remote jobs, and you need to be good, right? Until and unless you're good, until and unless you're different from others, right? No one is going to notice you, and if people don't notice you, then it's difficult to get a remote job, right? So you need to make yourself be visible out there apart from the crowd. Yeah, so just like Shubh said, you're never too late to start open source contributions, and he started in his last semester, which I think is amazing. I know CSS, HTML, and JS, but I don't know what to do ahead. He's doing graduation from Map Open. He doesn't have a teacher. I think that you should know what you want to do ahead, right? I mean, don't just learn technologies blindly without a plan, right? You learned HTML, CSS, JS. Why did you learn HTML, CSS, JS? If it was without a plan, then uh, it's simply front end development, right? You're doing HTML, you know CSS, you know JS. इतनी तीन चीजें आती है तुमको HTML, CSS, JS. This is front end development, right? तो front end development explore करो, JavaScript improve करो, React JS start कर दो, React JS सीखो, और React JS भी लर्न बाय डूइंग वाली अप्रोच से सीखो। ऐसा नहीं कि कुछ भी आ, कर दिया, आ, पहले पहले सीखा उसके बाद बनाया, ऐसे नहीं, बनाते बनाते सीखो। ठीक है। आई मीन दिस इज वन ऑफ द रीजंस कि मैं अपने वो लर्न बाय डूइंग वाली वीडियो के लिए इतना एक्साइटेड क्यों हूँ, क्योंकि मैं मतलब उसके बाद अगर मैंने इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस देखे कि कैसे सीखना है क्या करना है, तो मैं मतलब यूट्यूब छोड़ दूंगा, मैं छोड़ के चला जाऊंगा यूट्यूब। क्योंकि मतलब वो वीडियो नहीं देखी किसी ने तो बात अलग है, बट उस वीडियो से ऐसा समझ आएगा तुम लोगों को कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, क्यों करना है, बनाते बनाते कैसे सीखते हैं, कि तुम्हें उसके बाद ये सारे सवाल किसी से नहीं पूछने पड़ेंगे। Thank you, bro. Last question. Why on earth would everyone is moving to DevOps? Uh, well, there are a lot of people in DevOps who have been getting remote jobs, right? And especially if you look at, things like CNCF, there are a lot of, products and companies that are joining CNCF, the band of CNCF, and they are actively hiring, right? So a lot of people have been talking about it, and it's just about hype, right? I mean, DevOps is currently hyped up, right? A lot of people are talking about DevOps, a lot of people are promoting it, people like Rohit, whom I did a podcast with, people with Kunal, who I did a keep doing podcasts with, they are hyping up DevOps, right? And these people have huge following and things like that. So the people who are following them, they eventually are turning into DevOps, right? It's as simple as that. So that is there. And excited for you learn by doing videos. Even I am excited for them, because in the process I would also be learning new things, right? I mean, I would only be attempting projects that I don't know how to build, right? And I'll be demonstrating how I'm learning by building, and I'm going to take those project ideas from the comments. So whichever comment gets the most number of likes, I'm going to pick that project as what I'm going to, you know learn by doing in my next video. So that's how that series is going to go. The first project is going to be an Android application for a contact list. There would be a lot of contacts in it, but how to build it, I don't have any prominent experience in Java. It's been almost 3 to 4 years since I last touched Java, so I don't even remember the syntax of it, to be very honest. I haven't ever built any mobile application on Android Java. So I'm going to demonstrate how I will still be building that project, and then take the suggestions from the comments based on which comment is the most liked for my next videos in that series. What do you feel about data science and data analytics? Well, they are the first stepping stones of machine learning, right? Data science extends into machine learning, which in future extends into AI. So I think it's a good time to get into data analytics and data science. This industry is really going to boom going forward. I mean, that's my personal opinion. Please give us a link of the video you're talking about. Uh, that video hasn't been created yet. I have to post this video on I plan to post it this weekend, but this weekend might not be possible. It might come out on Monday or something, because first of all, this video is going to take some time to build, because there are two steps in this video. I mean, the first thing is that I'm going to explain how to learn by doing, and then I'm going to demonstrate it. So even if we remove the explanation part of how I explain it, which is roughly going to take 1 hour in my experience, uh, or maybe less than that. When it comes to demonstration, I'm not sure, right? Since I'm going to build that mobile application from scratch, I cannot estimate how much time it's going to take to build that. Obviously, I'm going to have a stopwatch on the screen, which is going to tell you how much it took me to build it. But I don't know how much time it will take in that sense. So I need to attempt that project. It's not like I will develop that project and then just replicate that same development in a video. I'm going to develop it on the spot, right? So I don't know how much time it will take. I'm going to attempt it on this weekend. So you can expect it on by Monday or something. Can you tell us how things work in remote work? As a fresher, can we get a job without signing bond? Well, I personally have not come across any company who makes you sign bonds, so I'm not sure what you are talking about. Which companies are you talking about? How do we connect with people who are hiring for remote work? Please answer. Well, I think again it equates to a lot of answers that I've already given. First thing, you shouldn't be fixated on remote work if you're a fresher. You should be more fixated on learning things and taking the experience, right? Be it coming from a hybrid role or an in-office role, whatever it is. And more importantly, even if you're going for remote work, then I think all the answers that I've given up until now is the only way. I mean, there's no point in repeating the same thing. I'm going to say the same things. Like I'm going to say that you should, contribute into open source. I'm going to say that you should, write blogs and learn in public. I'm going to say that you should build network through social media and stuff like that. But I've already said all those things, right? So I'm not sure why these questions are again and again coming up. Uh, because I mean, what different answer are you guys expecting out of this, right? I mean, what do you want me to tell you? Do you want me to lie to you that some magic is going to happen and people are going to reach out to you, things like that? It's not going to work that way, right? The better you get, the more opportunities you are going to get. One of the things that you can start doing is you can start participating in these LFX and GSOC and all those programs that are there. That gives you a lot of scope for building networks, right? You might become a part of a few organizations. You might continue to work as an open source maintainer in some of these organizations and things like that. So that is something that you can try. I mean, all these things are going on currently, the LFX and GSOC. So you can try becoming a part of these, but there's nothing more than that, right? There's no magic formula or anything that how to we connect with people who are hiring remote work. But the most you can do is you can go to their website, check out the career pages and see if there are any openings. Check out the companies that whose people work remotely. Right, go to their website, check out their career pages, and see if there are any openings, apply to them. Right, you can send them an email if you have their email address, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks, Shob. Have a nice good night. It's 10 already. I'm not sure about BCom plus MCA का क्या combination है. That I'm not sure. So I wouldn't recommend MCA just for the sake of it. Uh, MCA तो मत करो. You can do a web development course if you want, but you'll have to do the same things as others, right? I mean, I feel the major disadvantage that any person who is not in the tech field, right, who hasn't worked in the tech field, who doesn't have a degree or anything like that, one of the major disadvantages, जो disadvantage होता है किसी भी बंदे का जो टेक से नहीं होता, नॉन टेक बैकग्राउंड से होता है, जो भी है, उसका डिसएडवांटेज ये होता है कि उसको पता नहीं होता बाकी बंदे कर क्या रहे हैं, राइट, दे डजंट नो हाउ टू बिकम बेटर देन अदर पीपल। जब तुम्हें यही नहीं पता कि बाकी बंदे कर क्या रहे हैं, जो टेक में है बंदे, जो बीटेक कर रहे हैं, जो करंट स्टूडेंट जनरेशन है वो कर क्या रही है, जब तुमको यही नहीं पता, तो तुम उनके जैसा या उनसे बेटर क्या ही करोगे। समझ रहे हो? तो इसलिए बी एक्टिव ऑन सोशल मीडिया ज्वाइन करो, उधर देखो बाकी लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, जिनकी एक्टिवली जो पोस्ट करते हैं कि मेरी यहाँ जॉब लग गई, मुझे यहाँ इंटर्नशिप मिल गई, ये हो गया मेरे साथ, वो हो गया, उन लोगों को जाके फॉलो करो, उनका देखो, जर्नी देखो उनका, वो कर क्या रहे हैं एक्टिवली, डे टू डे क्या कर रहे हैं, वो किसी ट्विटर स्पेस में जाके बोल रहे हैं, कुछ थ्रेड्स लिख रहे हैं, जो भी कर रहे हैं, वो चीज़ें तुमको रेप्लिकेट करनी पड़ेंगी। समझ रहे हो? क्योंकि यू गाइस डोंट हैव अ डिग्री, राइट, यू डोंट बिलोंग टू टेक, राइट, तुम टेक में घुस रहे हो ना बिलोंग करते हुए भी, एंड इट्स ट्रू दैट टेक इज फॉर एवरीवन, राइट, इट्स मोर देन ट्रू कि टेक सबके लिए है, कोई भी टेक में आ सकता है, बट टेक में आने के लिए तुमको उतना काम तो करना पड़ेगा ना जो बाकी लोग कर रहे हैं ऑलरेडी, जिनको मिल रहा है। तुम उनसे कम करके नहीं एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते कि मेरा कुछ हो जाएगा। समझ रहे हो? तो यू नीड टू डू ऑल द थिंग्स दैट अदर पीपल आर डूइंग, राइट, एंड डू इट बेटर देन देम, right, you need to do it better than them. You cannot be average in what you do. You need to be better than them, right? Only then you would be, you know people would start recognizing you, and people would know about you, and only then you would stand out from the rest of the crowd, right, and then people would reach out to you. You sleep early or late? I usually sleep late at night. 2 or 3 p.m. is my usual time. 3, 4, sometimes 6 a.m. So I don't have any fixed hours. I like to work at night. I mean, I'm a night person. I like working at night. So that is one of the main reasons why I usually uh, am more active at night time than the day. I'm a night owl. Yeah, please answer, what should I go with, JE or just TSA? Uh, I'll I'll definitely not go with JE, right? Because it's too much effort for what, right? Recently there was this news where there was a sad news where one student, I don't remember what branch of IIT it was, but they committed suicide, right? Uh, so it's very stressful, right? The whole scenario of first getting into Jay, and then the competition doesn't end there. Then you are competing with all the competitive people. Because if you get into an IIT, then you can for sure know that everyone who is around you in your campus is a competitive person. Right? They are there to compete against you. Right. So the competition is not limited to the point where you get into IIT or you perform good at JEE. It is an it remains there till you pass out from your IIT, right? So I don't think it's worth it in that sense, and you would never have that peace of mind if you get into JE. So you should stick to DSA for your problem solving skills. 2 to 3 hours of DSA is more than enough. And yeah, I think that's my honest opinion. What's your daily routine? Well, the first thing that I do is in the morning, or not in morning, whenever I'm waking up. After that, the first thing that I usually do is I just look at I just try to create a list of things that I want to do today, right? And could be anything. I mean, for example, the first thing that I would be doing tomorrow would be to work on that bootstrap video, right? And if it gets completed by, let's say, 3 or something in the afternoon, then I'm going to upload it tomorrow itself, otherwise day after tomorrow, whatever it is, right? So I'll write all these things down, that I need to work on the video, I need to let's say spend some time learning this thing, something that I'm not aware about. I need to spend some time writing this stuff or something like that. I need to write a few emails to someone, uh, things like that. For example, I mean, today this This live stream started a bit late because I had a meeting before this, right? So it ended up a bit late, and then my live stream got delayed due to that. So I just write all the things down and then try to complete all the things that were written on that particular day. If something is there that I'm not able to complete, it just automatically gets moved to the next day, and the process repeats the next day. I also spend some time doing um, non-coding things or non-working things as well, just to create that balance. Yeah, what should I do? Earn a little to support and then web dev. Would it be good as I have no money as web dev and DSA takes time? Well, web dev and DSA takes time. If you're, let's say, in need of urgent money or something like that, it completely depends on you. I mean, for me, I mean, in my scenario, I knew that I had about 6 months when I was starting out. Uh, and I mean, I was also tempted by the fact that I wanted to earn, right, rather than learn and then earn, right? And hence I was considering call center and things like that. But uh, I since I had those 6 months, I wanted to take the chance. I mean, what was the worst that could have happened, right? I would have invested those 6 months. I didn't knew anything in tech even after that, and then I would have eventually fallen into the same situation of working at a call center, right? So I took that chance with myself. If let's say you are in urgent need and you need to start supporting your family or something like that, then you can consider that, but it's completely your choice. I mean, I cannot answer this question. Free CSS here. Freaks. So free CSS knows that the free CSS basically knows that last week I did a hangout on my Discord, and I was on that hangout 24/7. I didn't leave that hangout for 24 hours straight, more than 24 hours. I think it was about 25, 26 hours, something like that. I was there on Hangout. Whoever was coming, they were asking their questions, and we were just chilling out. Is someone maintaining virtual tech schools GitHub repos? Well, I maintain them, and we are also working on a project that we are going to open source for a content management system and things like that. So yeah, you can contribute into that one as well. I'll take a look at the PR. I didn't receive any notification for some reason. I'll just check. How to learn Flutter? A question that would be answered in my How to Learn by Doing. Hi Kunal, what's up? Congratulations Kunal on being recognized by We Make Devs. I think they recently announced uh, that Kunal has some great achievements from student to DevOps his journey, and there's a blog about it as well. So you can check out We Make Devs Discord, and they announced about it. You can check out the blog from there. Um, great work, great work, Kunal. We are going to have an hangout session on our Discord soon. Could you please consider my above question? I didn't see your question. There are so many messages coming up. Okay, I found it. Getting job around 25 to 30K or invest my time to become a T-shaped developer. I am mechanical 22 pass out and start learning code in July 2022 in short. In short, I focus on industry experience or sharpen my skills. Well, I think that you can do a bit of both, right? I mean, if even if you're doing a 25 to 30K job, then you're still going to left out with your weekends and you're still going to be left out with some time, right? So there might be that. I mean, it kind of depends on the job as well. If they have provided you with the proper job description, I see a lot of companies who hire, but they don't have any specific, roles and responsibilities that you would be managing, right? So you should know what your job description is, and you should know that after joining what would be your KPIs, even if the pay is low, right? Even if it's 25 to 30K, you should be aware about what your job description is asking you to do and what would be your KPIs, right? And if you feel that with that type of job description and that sort of KPIs, if you feel that you're going to learn something out of that job, then it might be worth doing it. And then you can spend the rest of your time, like your weekends or any couple of extra hours that you're getting in the day, in working on your skills, right? If you feel that that job description or KPI is something that is not appealing to you and you can learn, you can invest that time better. Right, it's not worth 25 to 30,000 rupees, then sure, I mean, go for sharpening your skills. Thanks, Kunal. Prince, I think I've already answered this question. How to manage college studies and my study? Uh, I don't know. I mean, you need to invest your time better, right? Start tracking your mind, your time, right? Start tracking where you're spending your time doing what and things like that, right? Uh, Being a student is hard, right? No one says that being a student is not difficult. It's very difficult to, spend so much time in college and all the things that college requires you to do, and then study as well. It's a difficult job, but you need to start managing your time, because soon you'll realize that uh, a lot of time, when you start tracking your time, you would know that a lot of time is getting wasted into something that it's completely getting wasted, right? I mean, you tend to think that I don't have time in a day, but you have plenty of time each and every day. It's just that you're not aware about where that time is going, right? So just start tracking your time and eventually you'll find your own answer. Pe- my question is ignored too. I mean, it's not like I'm getting one or two messages here. So I mean, if I'm not able to answer a question, it's because I didn't read it, right? I'm not deliberately skipping questions. Where can you make a video on how to contribute to open source project as an absolute newbie? Um, did you contribute into the link free project that is there, the open source link free project? If you haven't contributed into it, then I don't think you need a video, because you anyways are not going to invest anywhere, like contribute anywhere. Right. So, I mean, there are so many projects with good documentations and stuff. For example, Linkfree has excellent documentation, so you can start from there, right? Contributing into that project and do something along the similar lines, right? You can start with some documentation work. You can help in improving documentation and stuff. Right. Uh, there's nothing like an absolute newbie, right? It's just that it's outside your comfort zone at as of this point of time, right? You don't feel comfortable in, looking at projects, and you just get overwhelmed with all of the things that are there, right? You get overwhelmed with so many issues that, are saying something that you're not even aware about, right? You get overwhelmed with, so many people around you who are in the same semester as you. Let's say you're in third semester. Every person in third semester is going to know that one person who is in third semester as well, but he's doing all these things, and you feel the pressure that you're not able to do it, right? And you get overwhelmed by it. You try to do it, and then you see all these issues that you're not able to answer. You see, all this large code base in which you don't even understand the extensions of the files, right? One file is .yml and one file is Docker file, and you know things like that, and you just get confused, like what the what the heck is going on here, right? So take your time. Right, try take your time in trying to find the projects that you want to contribute to, and take your time to, identify those projects, to study those projects, become a part of those projects communities, right? And talk to people. You you might find someone who is willing to help you in understanding the code base a little bit, or you might find people who would tell you a little bit about how to contribute into some of the issues that you might be fit for, or things like that, right? But you need to be active in the community. That's more than. And don't look at other people. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. What matters is that uh, you should just look at your own progress, right? You're running your own race. Should we be taking cloud computing or mobile app development as an elective? Ignore interest for now. Well, I think that I cannot ignore the interest, because the one you're interested in is going to be the one that you perform well. Flutter has a lot of jobs in today's time, but so does cloud computing. I personally would have taken cloud computing. I don't know if that answers your question, but I still wouldn't ignore interest, right? The only reason I would have taken cloud computing is because uh, I'm more interested into it. Jobs are available in both the things. I started to learn Java and DSA. Can I get internship after Java full course with DSA? Uh, I'm not the one hiring, so I cannot say, right? Java plus DSA, I mean, no development skills or anything. You're just talking with about the Java syntax and the ability to solve DSA questions. I don't think that you're going to get internship with that. Internship takes a lot more. I've already answered what it takes, so you need to be the best version of yourself, right? You need to be the best one out there. That's the problem. I mean, most of the people want to get things being an average. Can you share your journey with us, how you started and how it's going? Some of the mistakes which we can learn from. Uh, this is exactly going to be the last video of my boot camp, so uh, you need to wait for that one. Actually, earlier you were giving your friend's example is working in TCS and didn't get a chance of studying. That's why I think it's if I get an entry-level job with advanced skills, it's easy for me to take a risk. Actually, earlier you were giving your friend's example is working in TCS and didn't get chance of studying. Um, I'm not sure which friend you're talking about, and I don't even remember mentioning that. But it's not like you don't get any time for studies if you are in TCS or anything like that. The schedule is a bit hectic. Yes, the schedule is hectic. I mean, some of these people's it was a TCS like company. So I do have a friend who works in TCS like company. It's an MNC, same service based companies and things like that. So there, I mean that the friend of mine, he used to come back home pretty late, right? And there were a lot of reasons for that as well. There were some office parties sometimes and things like that that are apparently more important than career, right? And Then I mean sometimes it's just that there's some extra work in office and stuff like that. So but I mean it's not like he didn't used to get time. He still had time on weekends and he still had time after office as well. And although not a lot, it was more or less just a couple of hours. But I mean if you're gaining some real experience working at TCS, right? If let's say you're working on a project there, so you're gaining some real experience working in TCS, and then you're having a couple of hours every day and the weekends to work on yourself, then I think it's a good thing that after 1 year you can make a much better switch, right? So that's something that you can do. I'm a MERN stack developer. Should I shift to Django with your bootcamp or should I focus more on MERN itself and learn more things like GraphQL, Docker, AWS? Well, you should stick to MERN stack. See, I have a very specific reason of why I am, going to go with Python and its backend. It's more or less because these JavaScript frameworks and stuff, all of them are asynchronous in nature, right? So I personally feel that when you, as a beginner, are developing them without properly understanding how backend works or the fundamentals of backend, then I feel that most of the times you are going to come across issues that are caused by its asynchronous nature when you're not able to understand which block of code is executing why, or you might be getting different results different times. I've seen all of these things happen, right? Sometimes I'm getting the right output and sometimes I'm not, right? These kinds of issues are very common in JavaScript where and the same issues are not that common in Python and its frameworks, since Python is synchronous in nature, right? So that is one of the reasons why I personally prefer Python and backend with Python as beginners, because that gives you you know that saves you from all the trouble of worrying about asynchronous nature of JavaScript and the errors that it can create, and it helps you really develop the backend skills that you need, right, in order to understand how backend works and write good backend. What RESTful APIs are, how to create RESTful APIs, what different HTTP status codes are, what type of status code to return and things like that, different types of architectures, MVC architecture, things like that. So I think it gives you the freedom to worry about just the backend part and not worry about why your code is not working for stupid reasons. So how to create other sources of income as a data engineer? First thing, you should not type in capital ever, because it looks a bit rude. I mean, if you uh, open any open source repository and if you reply in capital, they're going to block you, right? So these are basic internet manners, right? That you shouldn't type in capital. And as for how to build other resources, start freelancing, right? I mean, there are so many freelancing projects asking for data engineers to build their data pipelines and things like that. You can start freelancing, uh, but I mean, if you're doing a full-time job, then it's going to be a little bit difficult because then you need to put in the extra hours that are there. Should I learn data analytics or digital marketing or something else that can help me with some money along with web dev? Well, I think that data analytics and digital marketing are two skills that are money making skills. If you do a startup ever or if you become a part of a business or anything like that, then these skills can be very valuable. So you should definitely learn them if you have the time. Otherwise, focus on web development and DSA only. Uh, I don't know about your previous question. Guruji, you are great. Uh, I yeah, but I mean, if you're calling me Guru, then Thank you for that, but I'm not sure. And then we have a question as well. Uh, your views on Web3. Uh, I think Web3 is a good space to be in, and especially, I mean, Web3 currently, I answered this yesterday as well. So you can get started with Web3, and there are a lot of blockchain startups hiring currently, right? And new blockchain startups are coming up each and every day. And since I mean, blockchain is a space where in India there are no regulations as of this point of time. Uh, it's the things are going to change as soon as there are some regulations around it, right? As long as blockchains gets more regulated, but uh yeah, I mean, that's more or less about Web3. And I think it's a good time to get started with Web3. A lot of companies are hiring, and it de this entire decentralization, the concept of decentralized systems and things like that, I think that it's going to stay. It's not going anywhere. Not having control, not giving control to the data anyone, is it's a big feature. It's a good thing. So Web3 is a good space. Thanks, Apoorv, for answering my doubts. It's always great to attend your life. Thanks, Ankur. Thanks. I'm sorry my message will getting missed, so I did not any other intention. What message? I asked my question more than 10 times. Please answer. Let's answer Nishchit's question now. I have on campus placement in 3 months, so what would you recommend? Feeling really tensed. On campus placement, I think you should. I mean, if you're serious about on campus placements, I I have only 30 minutes for this live remaining, right? I mean, after 30 minutes, uh, I'll have to shut it down. So I'll try to answer a few more questions. So for off on-campus placements, I think you should start practicing DSA again. Spend a couple of hours, 1 hour, 2 hour every day on DSA. It might come in handy because a lot of on-campus placements companies still ask for DSA. Right. Apart from that, you should work on your skills. You should really work on your college project, whatever college project you have built for your final semester, or if you haven't built a project, then build a project, a good project. If you have built it, then prepare for it, improve it, right? Do all of those things. And yeah, I think DSA and projects are two things that you should focus on. If you get some time, then you can also add a bit of open source in your CV, but that's pretty much it. Do you get frustrated while learning something? If you do, how do you deal with it? I don't get frustrated while learning new things, and I mean, I can't remember of any time when I got frustrated while learning, uh, because my way of learning is different. So again, when you look at the how to learn by doing video, which I'm going to release this week, by Monday, then you'll understand how I usually approach the entire learning process, right? And once you see how I approach learning some anything new or things like that in that series, then you will know why I don't get frustrated. Because for me, learning is a very interesting process. Right, and how I make it interesting and engineer worthy is something that you're going to see in that video. I mean, if I am that sure that this learn by doing series that I'm going to create, if anyone watches, any student watches that video, it's going to change their life, right? I mean, it's going to change the way you think forever, right? So it's I'm pretty excited about that video. I know that video is not going to get that much reach because people are more interested in clickbait stuff, but I'm still going to do it. My JEE score not good. I decide private 4 years degree cost 29 lakh. My parent can't afford. What do you think? What I do so troubling and exciting, I can't find better BCA college. Well, there are a lot of colleges offering BTech as well, and definitely 29 lakhs is not the cost. Uh, I mean, if you look at any Delhi university, then most of the universities, uh, even for BTech, and if they're government affiliated or something, then even these universities, most of the universities don't cost more than 5 6 lakhs, right? We're talking about tier 3 colleges, right? So you can look for those colleges if you are looking for a degree, right? And yesterday I shared about that University of People as well that offers degree. I don't know uh, their credibility or anything, but I just know about something like that existing. You can check that out if you are really want to get a degree or something. It's free of cost. It's based out in USA and it's remote. You can do it from your home, and it's tuition free, so you can check that out. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm not sure about BCA. I would never opt for BCA covering up for BTech. If I want a BTech, I'll get a BTech or not BCA. I want to work in US but not remotely. How I apply for them? Well, I think USA, it's pretty difficult to work for US full time remotely. So you should focus for European companies, in my opinion. And even for if you, let's say, even make it for a United States company to work remotely, then that's not going to be full time. I haven't heard about any cases of anyone getting a full time job in USA working remotely in India. European companies tend to offer that, but for uh, USA companies, they need to have some sort of entity in India, or they these jobs are going to be through companies like remote.com or anything like that, those which provide with these entities, right? So that remote.com and these things can take care of the tax and stuff like that, so that the US company doesn't have to worry about it. If you're directly related, like talking about directly working with the US company, then I don't think it's going to be full time. I haven't heard about any cases until and unless they have an entity in India, or they are offering that job through remote.com or something like that. European companies are going to be a better option, in my opinion. Which company is better for a fresher to join? Small 10 to 50 employees, medium 50 to 100, or a big 100 plus company? Well, I think a company of 10 to 50 would be ideally the best choice for any fresher to join, because it's relatively a small company, and you as a person would be expected to do a lot of things, right? Because of lack of resources and things like that. So although it might look overwhelming, but you're going to learn a lot as well in the process. The smaller the company, the better, right? As beginners, because then you're going to learn a lot of things. University of People is charging rupees for exams. Yes, they have, I think, $100 per exam or something. That's what the charge, but the tuition is free, and you're still getting a degree, right? So that is there. They provide the content for free, but at the end of the day, your exams are reviewed by someone, right, to grade you. So they cannot do it for free. How to get out of here that I can learn coding from myself and not take help from bootcamp? Uh, wait for my learn by doing video. I'm so excited about that video because I know a lot of these questions are going to be covered in that video. And hey Apoorv, it's is it fine? I have about 20 minutes left. Hey Apoorv, is it fine learning web development from your channel on Windows? Yes, it's completely fine. Trying fed up trying installing Ubuntu on it, but failed every time due to issues with NVIDIA drivers. See, I think the best part I was telling, I was sharing this in my Hangout as well. I think the best part of shifting from Windows to Ubuntu are these errors that you're stuck with, right? Are these failures? Because Ubuntu doesn't allows a lot of things, right? And you're talking about yourself, but if I talk about myself, when I dual booted my system, I'm currently doing this live stream from Ubuntu, right? And when I dual booted my system, I also faced NVIDIA graphics issues and things like that. Drivers were not supported and all these things. But the main thing is that I solved them, right? And 5 years ago, when I started coding in November in 2017, my first operating system through which I started coding was Ubuntu, right? And back then I faced a lot of issues, right? The first issue that I faced was my laptop was not getting connected with Wi-Fi, right? It was not identifying any Wi-Fi. So can you imagine that issue, right? Can you imagine that I don't have any internet access in my laptop and my task is to solve this, to make my laptop recognize these Wi-Fi's that are available and things like that, right? So I did a lot of research on my phone through mobile data and stuff, and through that solved that issue. The next issue was that my microphone wasn't getting recognized, my speakers were not working properly and things like that. So the entire idea of being a software engineer, of being the ability to get out of your comfort zone and spend time solving a bug, right? That 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 thing, you really get comfortable with it when you start working on Linux, right? Because things don't work according to you. I i had to install Zoom uh, today, right? I had this meeting and I had to install Zoom in my Ubuntu, and I didn't wanted to do it through GUI with the software that is available. I wanted to install it through command line, and I spent 1.5 hours today trying to install Zoom in my system, right? So it's a part of development life, right? It's a part of it, and I could have easily installed it through a GUI installer, but I didn't wanted to do that because uh, just staying in practice of being able to face these issues and solving them, it's a part of becoming a software engineer, right? So you can do it in Windows, but I'll still recommend that you install Ubuntu, as when we move into AWS, Python, Docker, things like that, then you'll need Ubuntu. I mean, you need to have exposure to Ubuntu, and you need to be comfortable with the Linux environment in some cases. I was looking in data science domain and there doesn't seem to be many remote internships in this domain, or maybe not as many hiring. Uh, well, I don't have any idea about data science or remote. I know that data science is in demand. I know that data science, it's not just about data science. I mean, if you are doing data science, then you should know a little bit of machine learning as well, right? Because machine learning is an extension of data science. And if you look at machine learning has a lot of internships available into it, right? So try to expand your skill set. Don't just stick to data science. Go into machine learning as well. You should be able to pre-process all the data that you have and then apply it to models to train your models and things like that, right? And you should be aware about different types of machine learning models and things like that. So acquire some machine learning skills as well, because data science in today's times is considered very basics, right? Since I mean, if especially if you're not aware about machine learning and you don't know machine learning, then just data science doesn't works, right? No one wants a data scientist who cannot uh, train machine models with the data. My company is stopping me to contribute to GSOC as they say that you can't do that just because of the office policies. What should I do? Well, if the company is this toxic, then I would have left the company. I'm not sure about the situation. If you are contributing into GSOC through company's laptop, right? If you are using your company's laptop to do all these contributions and stuff, then even then it's not understandable, but it's a different case. But if they're stopping you altogether, that you can't use any machine or you don't have to do it, it's not about the machine, but it's about the policy. If that's the case, I would have left the company because this is a pure example of a toxic culture. I mean, rather than letting employees do something that will help them in their growth, stopping them from contributing into GSOC is beyond me. How can I dive into DevOps and what are the things I should focus on? You can watch the podcast that I uploaded today with Rohit Ghumre. In that, Rohit has, shared some resources and also explained how you can get started with DevOps. Please make a video on that Wi-Fi. I haven't faced that Wi-Fi issue ever again. So I need to recreate that issue in order to be able to solve that, right? I remember spending 3 to 4 hours solving that issue back in the days, but I cannot recreate it. I approve. So I get approved a lot for some reason. As you can see, I have been approved by the leap. So I approve. Is it required to have a knowledge of web development for DevOps? Well, not necessarily, but it's a good to have, right? Not necessarily, but it's good to have. I have KT of 8 subjects. Should I get a job or not, or gonna be big trouble? I didn't understand this question. I don't know what KT is, what KT of 8 subjects means. What do you mean by being in big trouble? Uh, I mean, see, I'm not a college student. I never went to college or anything like that, so I don't understand this college language, what KT means and things like that. So I cannot answer this question. But started making projects. Need your POV on this, projects or internships? Well, I think projects lead you to internships, and internships eventually lead you to job. So you should focus on projects and simultaneously uh, look for some internships. Keep applying for internships. Don't fear from facing rejections, right? Because rejections are going to make you stronger. You will eventually start understanding why people are rejecting you. Someone is going to give you feedback while rejecting you, right? So keep applying for internships and keep working on projects, and once you have a good amount of projects and internships, then you can definitely go for a job. Can I go for University of People Computer Science degree after 12th commerce? Well, that's your decision. I personally have not, I mean, I'll say this again. I have not explored University of People's courses. I'm not endorsing them. I'm not vouching for them. None of my friends have gone through that. I'm just aware about it and I'm just sharing about it, right? So whatever you do with it, it's completely on your own. Yeah, what should we do if we can't solve DSA problems very efficiently? Like for me, it takes an hour to come up with a solution for each question. I mean, it's not that bad if it takes an hour. I created a video on uh, tips and tricks, 4 step process. I don't even remember the name of that video. Let me check. So the video's name was Tips and tricks to learn DSA and crack interview for beginners. Shared a few tips in that one. You can check that out. What is generally pie-shaped learning and how to manage time with it? Well, there are a lot of good blogs available on pie-shaped learning. It's just more about, you know, learning different things at the same time. Talking about how to manage time, you just need to, you know, I'm not sure how to manage time because it kind of depends on the things that you have at hand as well. You might be going to college and spending significant time there, so that might be the case. Uh, but you can read some blogs about pie-shaped learning. It's just about how to learn two or more things together. KT means backlog. Okay, let's get back to the question then. I have KT 8 subjects. Okay, so you have a backlog of 8 subjects. Should I get a job or not? Well, if you have a backlog, then you should first clear that backlog, right? Uh, you are in third year of computer science engineering, so you should already do a lot of things that other people are doing as well. Uh, I I I have answered that already, what other people are doing, and you should do as well, just to be at par with them, right? You should clear your backlog definitely. Uh, and should I get a job, you should first start with an internship. Don't go for a job directly, because with no experience and backlog in 8 subjects, I'm pretty sure you're not going to get a job. Backlog, I know what backlog is. I know what backlog is. वो बोलते हैं ना कॉलेज में बैक आ गई 2 सब्जेक्ट में 3 सब्जेक्ट में, तो वही होता होगा. uh I freelance a lot, but and I have been a remote developer as well in the past. Currently, I'm not working anywhere. It's been a long time. It's been a year since I quit my job. I've been freelancing ever since and sustaining myself. And let's see how it goes going forward. Hey Apoorv, I'm now learning MERN stack. Can I simultaneously learn your Python bootcamp? Well, when the Python bootcamp starts, then sure. I mean, you can learn along with it. Python is relatively an easy language. You won't feel issues in that. Remote job websites. I think a lot of people have created resource on this. There are so many Twitter threads and stuff, so you can check those out. I don't remember these websites by name. Well, I think you should do both blockchain and DSA. If you're interested in blockchain, that's completely different. DSA is just for problem solving, right? It's not like you have to do just one thing at a time, right? You can do DSA. DSA is more about practice, right? You need to improve in your problem solving skills with practice, right? So DSA requires some amount of time and consistency each and every day. DSA might require you to, give 1 hour or 2 hour each and every day to it. Right, but blockchain comes under development. So you should do blockchain along with DSA. It's not about DSA or blockchain, it's about DSA and blockchain, right? The or and has a big difference between it. DSA is something that you need to do regardless of anything, right? It helps you in improving your problem solving skills. You're doing web development, you still need to do a little bit of DSA, right? Not for the interviews, I'm not talking about the interviews, I'm just talking about the ability to solve problems, right? It makes you think like an engineer, right? It gives you that mindset. So You're doing web development, you still need to do DSA along with it. You're doing DevOps, you still should do DSA along with it. You're doing blockchain, you're doing machine learning, whatever you're doing, you need a little bit of DSA in order to become a better problem solver, right? So DSA is not about or. DSA should be there if you're in college. Apoorv, I am hungry, can I eat? हाँ भाई, खा लो. I think I have also answered a lot of questions today, and all the questions that I'm seeing are now sort of repeating themselves that I've already answered. Bhaiya, what would your advice be for an 11th grader who wants to get a remote job in future? Uh, Talk to my community's admin, Prakhar. Prakhar will answer you better because he is in 11th grade, and I can guarantee by the time he will be 20, 21 years old, he will be doing a remote job. So you should take this advice from Prakhar. He's the admin in my community and he's active in the community. If you ask that question in general or if you ask that question in the ask channel there on our Discord, he will definitely answer it. Will there be any extra tax if we work remotely? No, there's no extra tax if you work remotely. First year roadmap for 2023 batch web dev. There's no roadmap. I mean, the entire roadmap that I created is something that can be covered in your first year. The question is, can you put in the hard work to do it, to complete it? How to get a remote internship? Chandu, uh, I think this question has been answered a lot of times, so there's no point in repeating the answers. I only have 5 minutes left, so I think I'm going to be ending this live stream now. I've answered a lot of questions in today as well as previous live streams, and I think in these type of live streams, the thing is that most of the questions that are asked, right? You're typing the questions and I'm answering them verbally, right? So we are also going to have some hangout sessions on our Discord server as well. And when we do those hangout sessions on our Discord, then that would be an opportunity where you can, ask your questions directly, verbally, right? And we can have a very casual conversation about it as well. We can have a back and forth conversation about whatever your doubts are, right? So I'll be having those hangout sessions on my Discord. I pinned the link to join our Discord server in this live chat, so you can take it from there. We'll be having a few hangout sessions next week, and day after tomorrow we are also going to do a gaming session on our Discord where we are going to be playing Krunker, which I recently found when gaming with when I was gaming with my friends Kunal and Rahul and a few members from the community. So we are going to have that gaming session soon. You can become a part of that gaming session as well and join our Discord to become a part of the Hangout as well. Next week we are going to do a few Hangouts. Uh, this Saturday we are also going to do a Twitter space on our virtual tech school's Twitter handle, which would be about public speaking. So it would again be a casual ask me anything session or just a regular random discussion on any topic. But I would urge people to join this as a speaker and speak in public, right? A lot of people have fear of speaking in public, of they're not comfortable in speaking in front of others, and they've never spoken in public, they lack confidence and things like that. So that would be a place where you can actually take the stage and discuss about something, ask your questions, answer other people's questions and things like that. And yeah, that's I think that's pretty much it for this live session. Siddharth asks that are you using AI tools in your job? Uh, it depends. I mean, I sometimes use it, sometimes I do not. And I don't think that I think that AI is a good tool, and it's helping, especially if you talk about ChatGPT, then it can be very useful in finding resources. It can be useful in finding, some other things that you otherwise might not know, stuff like that. But can you make a video about University of People? Well, I won't do it. Reason being that I'm not vouching or anything for it. As I said, I'm just sharing about it. I got to know about it from one of my friends who thought that since I don't have a degree, I might be interested in getting one from an online university. But I'm not interested in that either. You'll have to explore about it on your own. I'm not creating any content about it. I just shared about it, right? So that is there. And yeah, um, I think with that being said, that's pretty much it for this session, and we'll be ending it soon. Can you tell me how your English is so good? Well, first of all, I was from an English medium school, right? Um, I was in a Christian school, a private school with our main language as English. So I've spoken English since my childhood. That is one of the reasons why my English is like my second language, and I don't have to think much when I'm speaking in English. It's natural to me, right? I've been speaking it since my childhood. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The session will be ending in 30 seconds. And it was fun doing it. I felt that yesterday I couldn't answer enough questions, so uh, I did it today so that all the questions that I missed out on would be covered in this one. If let's say some of you are going to watch this session again, then please do provide with timestamps in the comment section below. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And stay safe. Good night.